Hello, welcome back. It has been a little crazy over here. I will insert some gross pictures, but I got my knee cut open and had to get stitches. It was pretty gnarly, but I'm actually about to get my stitches taken out right now. It's been a pretty rough healing process. I've never had an injury. I've only broken like 2 bones in my life. I've had 1 surgery, and that was my C-section. And so it's been an adventure. The knee, since it's a joint, takes a little bit longer to heal because there's always so much pressure on it, and so that's been pretty tough. I have not been able to walk. I have not been able to work out. I've pretty much just been kind of watching what I'm eating. But yeah, it was not very fun. So the first maybe like the first week, I was wearing bandages over it just to keep the wound protected. And now I've been trying to let it like air out. And the stitches rub on everything, so I can't wear pants right now, so it's just like shorts, and that's how I've been doing it. But yeah, it was pretty gross. After I get my stitches out, I will include a story time of kind of what happened and how we got here. But what I also really want to talk about is I am going to be doing 75 hard. I was actually going to start 2 days before or 2 days after I got my knee cut open, and then obviously I can't because my knee. So right now my date that I'm planning on starting is August 1st. This way I would have had the stitches in for 2 weeks, and then it'll give me 2 weeks to heal up even more after the stitches are taken out, just because I'm going to need the rest. So what I'm going to try to do is try to walk at least like 3 or 4 days, since now I'm kind of walking more normally. But the thing that does suck is that I have to figure out a regimen because I can't do any deep bends in my leg. All I can do probably is some like Romanian deadlifts. I really have been, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at a workout plan and try to figure out, because I definitely can't do squats. I'm so terrified of reopening the wound because it is still brand new skin that's healed together. And so I kind of want to take it as easy as I can. Might focus a lot on upper body, but what I might need to do for 75 hard is some kind of Pilates or yoga, and just be really sensitive to that area. I got to figure it out because I still want to do 75 hard. So that's where we're at right now, but I will see how this looks after I get the stitches out, and hopefully it'll be all right, because these things are starting to get caught on everything and it's driving me nuts. So yeah, here we go. So this is what it looks like now. Looks pretty good to me. This is right before we're getting them taken out. All right, editing Katie here. I wanted to just include the pictures of my knee and the stitches, but I wanted to interrupt because if you're queasy like me, skip over. So just skip ahead, so that way you don't see any of the gross stuff, because it's pretty gnarly. So I'm going to go ahead and include a picture of what it looked like when my knee got cut open. So it's taken when we were at the urgent care, and you can kind of see that it's like bloody and the skin is really gross. And then I will include a picture of just me being me. And there will also be a picture of what it looks like right after I got the stitches done. And so it looked pretty good after the stitches were done, and then it kind of did start to swell up after a couple of days. And I'm also going to show you what it looks like now, because I am editing this video 2 weeks after I've had the stitches taken out, and it looks great now. Honestly, it's like I mean, it's going to be a gnarly scar, but it looks a lot better than it did when it was open and bleeding. So now you can go ahead and resume the video without the gore. Hello. It is a couple days later from when I got my stitches out. It actually went really well. And yes, I am driving right now. I have my phone propped up, so don't worry, we are paying attention. I just like to talk while I drive. When I used to work in a restaurant, I always would call a friend or audio them when I was done, just help me decompress. So this is what I'm going to do, is I'm going to decompress with whoever is watching this right now. It's like nice shot of the double chin. So I wanted to share the story of how my leg got cut open. So basically we keep this, it's a weapon. We keep a weapon in our car, and it is a dual side hammer and axe. So it's not very big. I'll actually insert a picture so you can kind of see what it looks like. But it's just there for emergency purposes, you know, just in case, you know, you gotta like break the window or defend yourself or whatever. I don't have a concealed carry. I don't really know too much about guns. And so I told my husband I would feel more comfortable with something that I can use, which is a hand combat weapon. So we keep it tucked into the door of our truck. And basically, my husband and I were going to Laughlin with our family for 4th of July weekend. We were just going for the day. We were going to go to the Colorado River, just hang out, get some sun, get out of Vegas for a little bit. And we get to Laughlin, and we wanted to get donuts for everybody because we were running late. And so we were like, okay, let's get donuts since we're already late anyways. And the thing is that with my husband's family, the good thing about being late is that they don't mind so much, because then you're the person who gets to run errands for them. So that was fine. And my husband had to run some stuff to storage for work before we had left. And so we did that together, and he had some boxes and stuff that he had to put away. And he was using that axe to cut some boxes open so he could figure out what items he needed to take with him and which ones he was going to leave at home. I guess when he had put the axe back, he put it axe side up, which is, it's actually really shocking because my husband is very responsible with this kind of stuff. And this truck is what me and my daughter are always in. And so I know that he tries really hard to make sure that we're safe. And so he put it in axe side up, and I am short. And so I always have to kind of like hop out of the truck, and I drive a Tacoma, and so it's not a very like large truck, but I'm still really small. So I hopped out of the truck, and the door wasn't open like all the way. It was kind of at an angle, and I kind of banged my knee into the door. And I was like, that kind of hurt more than normal. And then I looked down, and my knee is just like split open. And I do not do well with like blood and body parts and body fluids and gore. It grosses me out. It freaks me out. I don't like it. So I immediately am like, and my husband is like, babe, are you okay? And I'm like, like, no, I'm not okay. And he's like, what happened? And I'm like, babe, you didn't put the axe away. And immediately he's like, oh shit. And so he comes out, he runs over, and I've never had a cut this deep before. I have cut myself open, you know, with like a new knife and stuff like that, but never like to this capacity. So it hadn't started bleeding until he came over, and it wasn't like gushing blood or anything, which is actually a good sign, because I was like, okay, there's no like vein or artery that we have to worry about. So it starts bleeding, and I realized that we forgot the first aid kit at home. And so I'm like, I just told him like, babe, just take my shirt, because I was in a bathing suit. I was like, just take my shirt off, wrap it in the shirt, and let's just go to the ER. And he was like, okay, let me look in the back and see if we have anything. And I start going into shock right away, because like I said, I don't do well with this stuff. It freaks me out. And every time I've seen blood, it I go into shock. That's just how I respond to things, which I know that it's also a normal bodily response if something like this happens. So my husband, he's so quick on his feet. Honestly, if you're in a life or death situation, my husband is the person that you want with you, because he can rig anything. It is incredible, actually, how fast he thinks on his feet. So he goes into the back and he's digging through our diaper bag, and he grabs a diaper that we have back there, and he holds it, he presses it onto my knee. And so he's like, just apply the pressure while I tie on the tourniquet. And he uses a onesie, like a long sleeve onesie, to tie the diaper into place. And so when we got to the urgent care, the doctor was laughing, and he was like, this is actually really smart, because these diapers are pretty absorbent. And so thank goodness my husband thought so fast, because yeah, it really worked pretty well. So it wasn't really bleeding by the time we got to the urgent care. It took us about like 15 minutes to get there from where we were. And yeah, so basically I had to get 5 stitches in my leg. It was pretty gnarly, but the stitches actually didn't hurt. And honestly, because I was in so much shock, I had so much adrenaline, that it wasn't as painful as I thought it would be. It still hurt. I mean, like, my leg got cut open with an axe, but it actually wasn't as bad as I had thought it would be. And so I was like, you know what, if I can have a C-section and have my abdominals cut open, I can handle getting stitches. And so yeah, they put 5 stitches in, they numbed it all up, cleaned it out, and then I just had to keep it bandaged. It did suck because we still wanted to go spend time with our family, but I obviously could not get into the water because you risk getting an infection. And so yeah, but I had the stitches in for 2 weeks, and it's healing pretty well. But within 2 days, the wound has now closed up. So yesterday even, it was still kind of open in the bottom. So I've been really careful about keeping it clean, keeping it covered with like either a Band-Aid, and then keeping petroleum jelly or Neosporin on it, just to keep it moist so it doesn't like crack and bleed. But yeah, the skin has totally fused together, which is pretty cool. So all that to say is I wanted to do 75 hard, and so we had to push it out because I wanted to ensure that I had enough time to heal from this, because obviously I couldn't even walk. So now I'm actually walking a lot better. I have way more mobility. Even just having the stitches taken out, I can move my leg a lot easier, but I still want to take it easy. And so my mom and I are starting 75 hard on August 1st. And I'm going to be doing a walk for at least one of my workouts, just because I really enjoy walking. But I think I'm going to try to do some maybe yoga or Pilates. And then I have to look into some like knee-friendly type of leg exercises, because I still want to keep my leg strength up, but I just don't want to risk tearing it open. But I will be documenting as I go through 75 hard. I'm really excited. My mom has tried it a few times, and she has failed every time she's done it. And I really want to encourage her that she is able to do it, and that she is capable of doing something like this. So we're going to do it together, and my sister-in-law is going to do it with us as well. And so it's not going to be easy. It's not called 75 easy. And so, yeah, but I'm really excited, and I'm glad that my knee is finally back together. And then for my diet plan, so I was really conflicted, because with doing a calorie, so normally I track my calories, and just as I'm trying to lose weight, just to be aware of how much I'm eating. I'm not super strict, just because I am breastfeeding, and so sometimes I have to have a little bit of leeway depending on how much my daughter is breastfeeding. And I was like, man, if I do like a 2,000 calorie goal, you start working out twice a day, your metabolism is going to ramp up like crazy, because you're working out, you're drinking a ton of water, and so your body's going to burn through that food like crazy. So I just didn't want to take the chance of being underfueled, because I also will burn out a lot faster. And I have ADHD. I can't risk burnout, because once I'm done, I'm done. Like, it ain't happening. And so I want to make sure that I'm fueled. I want to make sure I'm eating enough protein and carbs and fat. And so instead of focusing on a calorie goal, what I have decided to do is I read this book called Nutrivore, and it is actually a fantastic read. It relies heavily on plant foods, which she's not plant-based or anything like that, which I was vegan for 8 years. And so I do like to eat plant food. I feel the best when I'm incorporating tons of plants. But she puts a big emphasis on vegetables and fruit and the most important categories of foods, which are like starchy vegetables, cruciferous vegetables, leafy greens, mushrooms, onions, garlic, seafood. Well, that's not a plant, but like that's one of the foundational foods that she talks about. And so her biggest thing is eating a color of the rainbow, every color of the rainbow every day. So that's her big emphasis. So it's split up into 5 categories. It's red, orange and yellow, green, blue and purple, and then white and brown. And so I think my goal through 75 Hard is for every day I am going to eat the color of the rainbow every day, because it's a doable thing. I am still going to be watching what I'm eating. I'm not going to be tracking as heavily. I think I'm only just going to be tracking for protein purposes, just to make sure that I eat enough protein. And so you can really hit, like today I'm doing it right now just to get myself into the habit. I'm trying to like prepare my gut, because if you go in and you just start eating tons of fiber, like you're not going to feel very good. And so I'm just incorporating a little bit more every day. And I had a salad for lunch, and I had a lot of leafy greens, carrots, red cabbage, ground turkey, chickpeas. And that's 3 of the colors already checked off. No, 3 of the colors? 4 of the colors, because chickpeas counts as a white. So yeah, white, orange, purple, and green. So that was 4 categories just in one meal. And so I think it'll be just my easiest option to do with something challenging like this. And so that's kind of my plan as of right now. And then I think really what I need to do too is sit down with my husband and plan out every day of workouts, as far as the gym and other things as well, because if I don't plan, I'm going to set myself up for failure. And normally when you're just working out once a day as a stay-at-home mom, it's like, okay, let me just fit it in where I can. But because the workouts have to be 3 hours apart, I'm thinking of doing a walk either in the morning or at night. If I'm going to do an outdoor walk, then it's going to have to be at nighttime, because me and my daughter sleep pretty late. And so an outdoor walk at night. If it's indoor, I can do it inside. And then otherwise, we do have a backyard that I can utilize. So I can lift weights in the backyard or do Pilates or yoga out there, and something like that. So I'm trying to navigate how to figure that out. And then of course, if I'm going to the gym, then that's not an outdoor workout. So just really gearing up for it, getting ready. I've been trying to starting to up my water intake as well. I just really want to prepare my body, because I think sometimes probably the reason people fail at stuff like this is because your body's not used to it. So sometimes if you do too much at once, your body kind of goes like, what the heck are you doing to me? Why are you giving me this much water? I'm so bloated. I don't eat this much fiber. And so you have to kind of do it a bit at a time. And so I eat relatively healthy for the most part. But I've been trying to incorporate more greens, but I know that when you start doing cruciferous vegetables and greens, and like more beans, it can upset your stomach if you're not used to it. And so yeah, that's the whole story of my leg. That's where I'm at right now, planning for 75 Hard, and I'm really excited. I have some video ideas coming out. I had some suggestions from a couple of people, so hopefully I can utilize some of that and really just try to be more consistent. My goal right now is to try to post like twice a month, just because every week was just getting to the point where I didn't want to do it at all, because it felt like school. And so I want to do something because it's fun and because I am being creative. I don't want to do something because I feel like I am obligated to. And this is supposed to be a creative outlet, so that's the whole point. So anyways, if you are watching and supporting me, I just want to say thank you. And if you watch this whole video, thank you for making this far. And yeah, I am pulling up to my parents' house right now. Me and my mom and my sister-in-law are doing a watercolor class today. I'm really excited. It's gonna be so much fun. I love art classes, anything. I've always loved art classes. I think that they're great. So yeah, but we will see you in the next video. Bye.
So if you're doing the yellow green with me, you're probably starting